As we bring in David Stearns right now. David, obviously, it was a triumphant year as the president of baseball operations for the New York Mets. Let's reflect on some of those glorious moments of the postseason. Specifically, I want to know, what was your reaction when Alonso went deep in that wild card game against the Brewers?
Yeah, I was pretty happy. That's one of the more unexpected moments in Mets history and playoff history. You know, you're down against an elite closer late in a game on the road, and in your mind, obviously you're watching and you're hoping, but in your mind you're kind of preparing for the aftermath of what could happen if they get 2 more outs. And so for Pete to work that at bat, get it to a 3-1 count, and then hit one of the best pitches in all of baseball, Devin Williams' changeup over the right field fence. Pretty special, ecstatic moment for us, and a great moment for the Mets fan base.
David, it's Jake Peavy. That was an incredible moment, and I'm going to keep you there on the Brewers because I know Matt Arnold, your close friend, just won Executive of the Year. That doesn't happen if not for the shape that you leave that organization in. So congrats there. Congrats on an incredible year with the Mets. Sean Manaea, Severino, Quintana, all a pleasant surprise, I know, and great signs. But you see them walk out for free agency. I know you've got some names you like there, Peterson and Senga, Blackburn, McGill, etc. What does a free agent market look like in your rotation for 2025?
Yeah, look, you hit on it, Jake. We're losing some arms, and we're losing some guys who made almost every single start for us over the course of the year. We're losing 90-plus starts, a lot of innings. And so we've got some work to backfill that. I like where we are from a rotation perspective internally. I like having Senga back fully healthy. I like Peterson, McGill, Paul Blackburn, some of the young guys we'll have in AAA. But we'll need to add, and we recognize that, and we'll do that via free agency or trade. I think we're going to be active in both of those markets, and that'll be a big part of our work this offseason.
Pete Alonso has been a consistent power hitter for the Mets, David. There's no question about it, but I'm sure there's other interest out there. What's the approach going to be when it comes to trying to bring back Pete to the Mets?
Pete's a great Met, and you know, I was so happy for him, obviously happy for us when he hit that home run, but happy for him to truly have that signature moment that he deserves. That's a moment that Mets fans are going to remember forever, and he's going to be a part of Mets history forever. We'd love to have him back. We also understand free agency can take twists and turns. He's going to evaluate his market. We're going to do the best we can to build the most competitive team possible, and certainly stay in touch with him and see where the offseason leads.
Speaking of great Mets, I'm going to mention 2, Jose Iglesias, Tyrone Taylor, huge parts of you rounding out your roster and playing monster roles. Tell me what you first saw in Iglesias when he didn't really have a job there, and you guys brought him on. And speak to just rounding out a complete roster of different type of players.
Yeah, on Iglesias, we knew he was about to debut a #1 pop hit single, and thought that would be a big part of our team. And no, I mean, look, we had no idea what was going to happen with bringing Iggy in, and he turned into such a big part of our team, both in terms of what he contributed on the field and also what he was able to do in the clubhouse and provide a lot of energy for our club. And you know, rounding out a roster is so incredibly important. We tend to focus on the top of rosters. Those are the guys that we all pay to see. Those are the guys that you know, can impact games repeatedly, but it's really tough to win over 162 games without complete rosters, without complete 40-man rosters, and even beyond that. And so we spent a lot of time last offseason, and we will again this offseason, ensuring we have the depth to make it through an entire Major League season, and ensuring that we have guys who can fit in their right roles and contribute to our club in a variety of ways.
I'm sure you can imagine the start of the year. The OMG is going to be heading to Cooperstown as per the memorabilia signifying this Mets season. You know, Carlos Mendoza did a fantastic job, David. I was so impressed by him, just how self-assured he was, how calm he was. You know, full disclosure, I love Buck Showalter. He's my colleague here at MLB Tonight. Would love to see him Buck with the Mets, but I got to tell you, I thought Mendoza did a fantastic job. Why do you think he was so successful right out of the gate?
I think he was so well prepared for this job, not only with his experience throughout his career in baseball, but having sat next to Aaron Boone as a bench coach across town with the Yankees. He had interviewed for a number of jobs. He had given real thought as to what he wanted to do when he got the chance to be a major league manager. And he fit in really well. I think he and I are very aligned on the type of culture we want for our organization. He was so incredibly consistent with who he was on a day-to-day basis, and really enjoyed working with him, and he did a tremendous job this year.
Last one for you. Speaking of tremendous jobs, Francisco Lindor, particularly in the second half come playoff time. It's amazing, David. He's never been an all-star as a Met, and yet this year he was unbelievable, particularly down the stretch with all that clutch pay. Just talk a little bit about what Frankie brought to the table.
Yeah, from June 1st on, I think it's tough to find a better player in baseball anywhere. And I know we had some historic performances throughout baseball this year, but he carried us for large segments of this season. He performed in clutch moments. He performed in big moments. And it was really a pleasure for me to watch him on a daily basis. Not only how he performed, but how he prepared, what he asks of himself. And I think that is sort of the key to the greatness behind him is really what he is doing when the cameras aren't on, and he's working incredibly hard.
David Stearns working hard right now, the Mets president of baseball operations. I did not realize San Antonio had such beautiful flora and fauna. So it looks like you're about to enjoy a nice hike, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Sounds good, guys.